Hi, my name is Vanessa, and
Hello.
I'd like to. Oh, Dr. Nye?
Yeah, okay. Um,
Sorry.
you're good. Okay, ready when you are.
Now I introduce you?
You'll just say to share something about myself. So, hey
Okay,
Vanessa, would you like to know a little bit about me?
absolutely. This
Okay.
is the first semester I'm having you as a professor, and I find you interesting and fascinating.
Oh, shucks, you don't have to say that.
Well, I'm getting an A, right?
Uh-oh. Of course, because of your hard work.
Good,
Um,
good, good, good.
Yes, hi everyone. I'm Professor Nigh, and I just wanted to take a moment to let everyone know a little bit more about me and about our exciting project, the Brecht Project, which opens this weekend and closes this weekend with performances on Saturday the 5th at noon and 7 p.m. and Sunday at 2 p.m. This is my second year at Pasadena City College, my ninth year teaching, and I'm really thrilled to be at PCC. I've had a fabulous time in spite of the really unexpected huge changes that have all been dealing with. Definitely has been, I think, unique to have such a huge thing happen in my first year at a new job, but everyone has been so lovely and the students have been so amazing and have made me so proud. Um, I'm a director, I'm a professor, I'm a researcher. I've written on theater that addresses large scale trauma, such as the pandemic that we're going through right now. And my areas of specialty are generally community engaged theater and theater for social change.
Which is exactly what we've been learning this semester about Brecht and his approach to theater, theater as protest, theater as education. Is that what led you to be interested in writing a play about Brecht, Bertolt Brecht?
Well, I wanted to do a Brecht show, and we will be doing a Brecht show in the spring. And the idea for some of our main stages is to have the studio productions lead up to those main stage productions, whether
Mhm.
that be through performing monologues from those playwrights or scenes from the playwright. But because, well, there were two things that happened. One is we're dealing with budget issues for all the obvious reasons.
Mhm.
I didn't want to blow our budget on paying for the rights for the studio production when we will need that money for the main stage production. But more importantly, coming away from this summer with all of the things that were happening, the Black Lives Matter movement, seeing another instance of police brutality, the election, COVID, I felt that it was really important to do a piece that reflected what you all, the students, are going through right now. And so I thought that the best way to do that would be to use Brecht rather than to use his words, but to use Brecht and his life and his plays to talk about what we are all going through in this current moment, which I think, and we talk about this in the play, I think is what Brecht would really want, because Brecht was responding to his time.
Mhm.
And I think he would encourage people to respond to their moment, making their own theater and asking, what does that theater look like today? So that is
Right.
sort of what I asked of all of you, is what do you want to talk about now? And
Mhm.
what do you think theater looks like right now? Of course, we're incredibly limited because the answer to that question is automatically Zoom, right? It looks like
Right.
Zoom. But we talk about that as well. So I wanted to do this because I believe that telling stories is one of, if not the most important tool we have to create empathy and to create social change.
Yes.
And I think also right now, young people and students their perspectives are often not as recognized or not given as much of a platform. And
Right.
so I sort of always look at the opportunity to make theater with students as an opportunity to find out what you all care about, not to force onto you what I care about or think you
Yeah.
should care about.
Definitely. And I think we all appreciated that opportunity to express what we felt needed to be said in this particular, challenging time. Speaking of challenges, what did you find was the biggest or hardest hurdle slash challenge you had to getting this whole show off the ground?
Well, I mean, definitely being unable to be in person. So much of the magic and work that happens in making a play happens because of the chemistry that you experience in the room with a group of people.
Mhm.
And so I think that it's challenging to, especially devising a play um through Zoom, I found to be really hard because we couldn't improvise with our bodies, we couldn't move around to figure things out. Everything was very cerebral, and it came down to just writing, writing, writing. And I think especially because we had all already been on our computers all day long, to then have another few hours at the end of the day where we were staring at our screens was not easy, but we rose to the challenge and did it in spite of all of that.
Yes, you were our fearless leader. We
Well,
were all taking
I
we were
had
taking
all
the
of,
cues from you.
what do you think was the biggest challenge?
Honestly think that that has also been our biggest hurdle. I think all of us were contributing writing, which was amazing considering none of us are playwrights. So
Well,
I'm really
darn
proud of us. I, um, I'm really proud of us as a class because we gave you the skeleton and then we just started to build on it, which it feels really really good. um, and I think definitely not having the personal interaction, contact, it does make it a bit difficult. But we all like each other. So that's awesome. Like we all kind of love each other and have been enjoying this class, but it would have been so much better if we had been able to work off of each other in the same way like you talk about in a physical space.
yes, it
So,
definitely would have been different. And I think it is, I think you do still bond,
mhm.
and
And we
I think
did.
in our case, we'll bond because we've gone through an extraordinary situation together, right? I don't think we'll ever forget making a play in the middle of the pandemic.
It's definitely one of the books for me. and and hopefully it won't be much longer we're going to be having to do this. Let's all cross our fingers.
I
So
know.
I'm excited about having people see and hear all the stuff that we wrote. What are you most excited about?
It's sort of the same reason why I wanted to do this project is the thing that I'm most excited about. I'm really excited for you all to get to tell your story. And I'm also excited that we are sharing some things about Brecht that I would bet a lot of people don't know. I've been obsessed with Brecht for over 20 years, and I just found out this year that probably and in all likelihood, he did not write the majority of some of his most famous plays, the women in his life. I know, Vanessa, it's true. Um, and um, and so I'm excited for us to share now the world that we have been diving into with the audience. And but more than that, I truly am excited for us to have an opportunity to reflect on an extraordinary year, right? 2020 has been just a shifting, right? A tectonic plate shifting year. And I think that this play will, in a way, become a little time capsule of remembering, because sometimes, having gone through September 11th when I was in college and I was in New York City, you think you'll never forget what it feels like, but
Yeah.
you do. right? Time passes and we heal. We're in a process of healing, and understandably, because we are wired to not fully forget trauma, but to not always be in the acute nature of that memory. So you
Right.
do forget. So I think that I'm also excited that this play will really sort of mark what this year has been like
Yeah.
for this small little group of people, but I think we are a cross section of what a lot of people have gone through.
Yeah.
And I'm also, that just reminded me, I'm also really excited. And at the end of rehearsals, just to share some of our process, I often ask you all to say, what are you excited about? What do you want to share with the audience? And a number of you have mentioned this thing I'm about to mention, which I am also excited about, which is that we have a really beautifully diverse cast.
Yes,
We have diversity in age,
we do.
we have diversity in skin color, gender, sexuality, and uh, and so I think also because sometimes the same people get to tell their stories, and I
Hmm.
think that this truly is a little microcosm of what this country looks like on a good day.
Yeah. It was sheer, I mean, it was sheer, providence or something that was guiding us to take this course. Because you're right. I mean, we do have all ages. We've got someone from pretty much every sort of background. So it is a truly multicultural cast. And I am going to miss them a lot because
Oh,
they've been so much fun. Hopefully, I'll get to work with you again because now you've passed on your Brecht obsession to me. So now
okay.
now I'm obsessed with him.
I see
Um,
the plan has worked.
yes, and especially because I didn't know much about him before this course, except for Three Penny Opera. So it was incredible to learn so much about. I had no idea, and it's incited inside me a desire to keep writing, keep pushing causes, being active. So
That's
so
awesome.
yeah, so that's my takeaway. What do you want the audience to walk out with?
Well, I was just going to say real quickly, bouncing off of what you said, that I think what makes Brecht endure and
Hmm.
be such an important figure still today to us is that he was so conscious of the potential of theater. He was making theater as a way of being an activist. I think he was an activist first and foremost, right? And
Yeah.
an artist second, or certainly hand in hand. And I definitely identify that way. I rarely make a piece of art if I can't identify why that work matters in this moment and identify what intervention it is making in something that needs intervening in, or what is being fortified that needs fortifying.
Hmm.
So I think that Brecht intrigues us because he believes something that I think most of us who turn to theater believe in, which is that theater matters.
Yes.
So, what I want the audience to take away, I never say, because I don't, the audience should take away whatever they wind up taking away. However, um, I hope that the audience gets some medicine from our show that I think we all need right now.
Mhm.
I hope they get some laughter. I hope that they learn something, and I won't say what, because again, that should be an open experience, and I think it will be something different for each person that watches, which is always true in a show.
Yeah.
And I hope that they feel a little bit of hope and a little bit inspired and a little bit reminded that this is not the first time, unfortunately, that we have gone through these challenges, and it won't be the last, also, unfortunately. But to me, learning about someone like Brecht, who went through Nazi Germany and many other things,
Mhm.
you remember that you can't give up because this is not the first time, and people persevere, and people fight, and people make art, and people find joy, and people continue to live, and people continue to care for each other, and that's what we need to do. And so I think that all of these topics and themes and lessons are in there and more.
Well, and I love that the way, I mean, this is a different project than I've ever worked in, which is exciting for me. I love getting this kind of exposure to theater. But it also, I think our show is inspiring without being, like a preaching type of on the, pulpit type of, the sky is falling, etc. I think there's a lot of humor. There is a lot of, really cool Brechtian things that we threw in there. And you're right. I do believe theater is protest, and us to be writing, acting, pushing the boundaries is the way for the next couple of generations. We're going to just have to do it to make change.
Change change does not happen without a lot of elbow grease. You can sit there and post a meme, no offense,
Right.
that's not going to do very much, right? I mean,
Yeah.
democracy is not a given, human rights are not a given. We have to all continuously keep watch and fight for the things that are important to us, fight for our community,
Mhm.
fight for ourselves. And that's yeah, the work never ends. I wish it did. And I think that young people are always the future, are always the answer. And we have to pass the torch, and we have to listen to those who are younger, because they're the ones who will be dealing with the consequences of the actions of those who have a lot of power
Yep.
for much longer than the people who are making those decisions, right?
Absolutely. Yep.
Sometimes when I see all these 80-year-old lawmakers, I'm like, oh my gosh, you're at the end of your life. And I don't say that to be harsh, it's just true. You're at the
Right.
end of life, and you are holding on to the way you think things should be. And it's like, I think it's time to
Yeah.
let go, because the new way of living and the new understanding of what it means to be in the US is coming along, and it's time to let change and growth is part of nature. And
Hmm.
I think it's never good to not allow change and growth to happen. So
Right.
again, this is also why I didn't want to just make this play about Brecht or the past. I wanted
Hmm.
it really to be in conversation with where you all see the world going, theater going, society going, your own lives going. And I think that we did that.
We did. I mean, we're writing this thing, in the middle of the elections, so we had a lot of fuel to get us going, right? Like, everyone had something
A
to
lot
say. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of fuel, and then also a lot of moments that we actually really couldn't give anything else, and we needed to take a break, and that's okay too.
Yeah.
Um, and we all made a commitment to just be in the moment and to focus
Hmm.
on what we were doing versus what the product was going to be.
Yeah.
And I think that we did a really good job of that as well. And I'm just very proud of all of you for everything that you've done. And I'm very excited that we get to share it with the world very soon.
I am too. I'm so excited. So, what were the dates and times again?
Yes, I was just going to say, so this Saturday, December 5th at noon and 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And that's so those, we know we're going to have people in London and Germany watching. We want them to be able to watch it without it being too late. And then Sunday at 2 p.m. And if you're watching this, that means you know where it's going to be, because it's here on this YouTube channel. And we very much look forward to having you all with us this weekend.
Thank you so
And
much, Dr. Nye.
thank you, Vanessa.